Hey everybody, can you guys hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I don't know. I can't get my screen sharing to work again. It was working for a while and it just stopped. I think Windows 11 updated again. I guess it's after time. We should go ahead and start, huh? One sec. Um,
Yeah.
Helia,
Okay.
can,
Um,
can can you share? I can't share. So unfortunately, for some reason, my screen sharing won't work. And
yes, I can share. I just check and Ram seems won't be able to join us today. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, is it visible? Oh, looks like visible. Okay.
okay,
Is it large enough?
it's okay for me.
Okay. Looks very much improved and cleaned up, Brian.
Yeah, so I cleaned up a lot of the struct stuff. I haven't cleaned. I left some things just as notes to myself and everybody on some things that I want to make sure make sure are covered because I wasn't quite sure what some things were referring to. And actually, on the error stuff, I have some questions out to Rom on. So I tagged him in some additional comments there. So I left some of that stuff up top for just for now.
Okay.
Um, I've also kind of uh, made some just minor tweaks and cleaned up a lot of other comments on the side. So I think the first one that is actually something bigger than a trivial edit is the Hamming code and or Hamming matrix. I don't even know how what the terminology is there in the ECC on page 6.
Um, I think this we talked about just putting the matrix uh there to define the
Yeah.
code, right?
So Rom pointed me at some Verilog.
Oh,
And I
okay.
looked about I guess what he was using for ECC, some sort of open source Verilog. And yeah, anyway, there is a text table in there that shows its parity data relationship. And I looked at it and then it doesn't expand out. So I was like, okay, well, how does this expand out? And I looked at Wikipedia and realized it's the exact same table. So I used the table from Wikipedia, editing it down so it's not because it was Wikipedia's, has
Oh,
data has
this
actual
table.
data.
Okay.
Yeah, has data position and stuff like that too. So this is a relationship of parity to data. Um, um, I think this is sufficient. What do you guys think? And this seems to be the way everybody kind of illustrates this.
So yeah, uh, I I can double check, but that looks at the first glance looks like Hamming code. Um, One thing that maybe we can call out is that we do not interleave
Yeah.
parity bit and data bit.
So I
We
I
Yeah.
specifically took out, so there was a row that showed the position in the packet, right? So I took
Mhm.
that out. But because I guess everybody again shows the parity bits with the data bits here, in terms of this pattern, that kind of kept them together because it seems to be because that's how you repeat the pattern going forward, right? So obviously the positions are different when you actually encode the packet.
Yes, so I think I can't see that text when we said the parity bits will be encoded at the end. Um, I'm not
I can make an
finding that.
additional note on that. It's the next one page up that shows the
Oh,
actual packet. So a packet. There you go.
um, okay, yeah, and maybe The ACC mode has to be configured in side bin. Okay. Next, okay. So here maybe I can say
I can just add a
P
note there saying note the
the table
yeah, okay.
XXX P1 to P16. But this is not 8-bit.
No, it's not because you have to.
It's
I mean, we don't
smaller.
have 64 data bits here either. The table will be huge.
Yes.
I just say that the remaining bits follow the same pattern, which is
Yes.
when you see that on Wikipedia or any other place, they say basically the same thing because nobody wants to illustrate that many bits out.
Should we just oh, these nice tables, none of them have okay. Cross-reference. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. We have to put table numbers in here as
Yes, yes, I just noticed that some of the tables that I probably added, I forgot to put
No, well, the problem is Google Docs doesn't do automatic cross-referencing in tables and stuff like that, right? So you can't have automatic table numbering and you can't have references to tables that adjust and everything like that. So I think at some point when we feel like we're good with that, we can pull into Word, let Word do its thing,
oh,
insert the
oh, I see.
preferences,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
pull it back into Google Docs in order to, try and maintain those numbers.
yeah. Yeah, I remember that discussion. Okay.
I mean, this is all we need, right? I mean, or does anybody think we need anything more in terms of VCC?
Mm.
The algorithm is standardized, right? I mean, I don't know if there's another algorithm out there for this or to calculate parity.
So what is P8? Oh, oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's
that's just that's how they,
P1. Oh, okay. I would have named it P0,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Don't we
yeah,
number our data bits starting at 0? Like, where's D0?
this is D1,
this is,
but I was looking
yeah,
at parity. If parity is P0, it shows 2 to the power of 0 that um
Yeah, we clearly say our data bits start at 0. So we need to show where 0 goes.
okay. I can renumber them.
then this, for example, would be 8, and that makes a lot of sense because 12 would be, and this would be 11. This would change a bit. Um, oh, I guess it would be P0, P1. No, it would be P0. Um, D1, and then P2. The index of the data and parity would interleave. Is this so? It is shown here too. Oh, no. Okay.
It's the same table.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, again, yeah, like I said, this particular version is from Wikipedia, but it follows that same pattern as the Verilog.
Okay.
Okay, I can rename the number of the data bits and Yeah, no problem on that. Let's see. Anything else on that we need to make sure and document? There's no like NIST or ISO or something we need to point at?
NIST for security?
No, so whatever. Some
Oh,
standard.
I don't, I don't know. I never heard that coming up.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. I'll like I said, I'll here actually. Wait, do I have another? Okay. All right. So I added a separate note for numbering the data lines. Anything else? I'm gonna go ahead and close the comment originally asking for a Hamming code matrix. Okay.
Okay.
So and then Boppy's got some comments there, but I haven't really grokked what's going on to what all those comments mean.
Let's go to them.
They're in that same page, or they're on they're on the table above ECC.
Oh,
I
here,
guess.
this one. Okay.
Yeah. They're all pointing at the word registered.
Normal operation, the only address to be used is the I think this is in line with what we talked about. Just have one address that everybody looks at them. But we said maybe some of them, okay, but that's PMR. Also allow.
Sorry, can we go back to the parity table for a second? Sorry.
It's showing.
No, I understand to talk about it. So in this document, we specifically use D to refer to the data bits within the message, not the bits of the message. And so I think there could be some confusion because your Ds there don't mean the Ds in, if you scroll up a bit to page 5, bottom page 5, those Ds, they don't apply to those Ds.
Okay.
Those Ds and those Ds are not the same.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm just thinking there's I mean, it's obvious what to do, right? But I'm just saying there could be some confusion.
Right.
Maybe-
Okay.
Maybe you want to make those be M bits, M 0
Yeah.
through whatever 100 or something.
Okay, so that would be M
Yeah.
bits, M bit 0 to 29.
Yep. I can change that
No,
too.
to 92. Sorry.
Oh, wait, which change the in the ECC table to M bits, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
that's my proposal. There's lots of ways to do this, but
That's fine. I don't have any horse in this race. Okay. So not confused. Okay. All right. I added a note for that. I'll change that. Okay. All right. So back to Boppy's comments. Let's see. Normal.
Do we need
He also
this
talks about
sideband?
making BOW sideband or sideband registers to be read only, which was one of the things we talked about too. Though I
I
have a
think we
problem.
talked about the not in the context of PMR. We talked in the context of the config and stat be read only. I'm not sure what, but it means.
I think he means the other registers other than PMR.
Yeah. Do we need that feature?
Well, we kind of talked about that in the local versus remote stuff, but there's problems with that too. I have found in reviewing that section that we kind of munge some things that we can talk about them when we get it down there. But
So if I remember correctly, I might have forgot. We talked about in the context of config and stat registers, and that made sense at least some of them to be read-only, but in the context of PMR, I think,
Yeah, PMR, you have to write to it because the partner sent you messages
yeah,
there. But I think I assume this comment means everything but PMR.
it's a PMR. Okay,
But I don't know. I mean, this is
so
a
let's,
really old comment.
yeah, let's provide kind of a response here, maybe. How would I provide a response?
I mean, you can just add to his
Oh,
comment
here
thing.
at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
So, PMR stays need to be writable, right?
Yeah. I think that's probably the only one that's really, I think the everything else we've kind of already covered.
The config stat we covered. Okay.
Yeah. Once you've done that, I think you can close the comment if you want.
Okay. And then I'm still on how to handle the sideband registers.
I think we already
I
did that.
think,
We already covered that too.
yeah, okay. Okay.
Okay. I think we can probably move on from that then. So the next comments I have are just another page down. All right. So we talked last time about having errors if you have out of bounds addresses. So I added that. And then I realized, okay, well, if you have an out of bound address, you need to be able to abort the transaction, right? So you don't cause a bus error or any other system concerns. And then I had a question about, well, what happens if you abort a transaction that has a response? You know, and lots of systems will go ahead and send a response just so you don't have an error. And, you know, you can continue functioning even though, you know, you had a, but I, you know, some other systems would prefer to have bus errors in that situation, right? Where you actually halt. So I don't know what you guys want to do. Do we want to go ahead and silently be able to respond to these out of bounds packets, or do we want to? Do we not? We want to define this behavior at all? I guess that's the problem.
I think we could do many, we can take many choices, but like those who have actually implemented that state their preference.
I guess, Paul, do you even check for out of bounds addresses?
No, not at the moment. So, you know, we don't do, we always do posted writes. So
you wouldn't have that issue there.
yeah, but for read responses, you know, I don't know what we would do. Again, everything's done in firmware from me, so I don't know what we would implement in firmware for that. You know, to me, it seems a safe thing to do is, you know, respond. You know, if it's a write with an ACK, then you know you would give the ACK back. And for reads, you know, it seems like you would want to close that thing, so you don't hang the bus,
Yeah,
right?
that would be my impression too. Oh no, some people probably might have.
Yeah, you certainly should generate an error, you send an error message back, but I would, I guess, recommend that we ACK those things that require ACKs, because we did get the command successfully. It was an incorrect command.
Yep. Okay, so here, I'll add a note real quick. Yes, and then on reads, you know, just to be complete, I would say just return 0. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. I do think we should return deterministic data. Yep.
All right. I'll go ahead and make those edits later then. And then we'll make sure and I'll leave those comments up. So if Rom wants to debate that when he gets back, then we'll note that. Okay, that next comment, I'm gonna go and close it. Oh, okay. All right. So the next one, we're gonna go, so the next one down is in the BOW sideband register configuration. I think we kind of had an open discussion with Rom before, and we never closed it, and then I realized that I thought I knew what was going on, and now I'm confused again. So I don't know what these bits are for. I don't know how you. I'm not even 100% sure exactly how you even reuse this register. So I think we just need some sort of write up, some sort of paragraph on what is the flow here, because like one of these registers is a partner error. Like, does the partner write to the local configuration register in order to signal it had an error? And then on the same note, I have a note below. There is actually a partner error register that we didn't talk about and register. Well, no, I take that back. The local error register, the thing we talked about being local and then we flagged local and had a discussion about, it actually has partner bits in it. So, or a partner flags in it and things like that. And it even talks about the link state. So it actually seems like it was a precursor to us adding errors to PMR. So I'm feeling that maybe some of this stuff needs to be deprecated out since we improved the PMR flow, but I'd like to get Rom's take on it. So that's why I tagged him here. And like I said, we do need some sort of flow more than we do here about how this register is actually supposed to be used.
I agree. It seemed like these error bits were the primitive error functionality and kind of reporting those, and we made it more sophisticated. Whether we remove them or not, yeah, I agree. Rom should weigh in.
Yeah, Rom needs to definitely weigh in here, and then we need to figure out whether I think we can probably simplify some of the stuff. I think that's really the takeaway. So let's get his take, and then we can make a call on the next meeting.
And I'm perfectly fine leaving them and leaving a comment. Those are there for historic reasons, but just two bits. I think that's fine.
Well, I don't want to like make a call like that without, because again, I don't remember those even adding. I don't think I was on the call at that time. So like when those are originally decided versus what we have now. So I think we just need to figure out figure out why they were there, and then work forward whether we want to change anything on those. Because like now, like I said, I think we have more
Okay.
mechanics than we need.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that's where I've gotten to, and then we're going on. So past this point, we're going on to comments I haven't looked at since our last meeting. So we can keep going, but just FYI, I haven't made any more edits past that point.
Just remember.
The next part is about link repair. I don't know if we talked about it last time. I don't know if we need to if we want to continue that conversation.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. Can't remember why we tagged Rom on that.
But before we get into that, can I ask about the actual definition of the message a little bit?
Sure.
I was interested in finding out what we say about the required fields to be valid in the message. Like for a read response, right? There's still an address field in there, but I don't think we use that. And so I was wondering what we say about that in the spec.
Oh, let's go find that.
For all the command types, right? We don't use all the fields, or at least we don't need to.
I cover them in some of them, but I might have missed some of them. So like for instance, I specifically in the error, I broke it out, and I don't think I went back and double checked everybody else. But for instance, on error, I say the address field can be used to convey the address of a transaction that the error is for, things like that, right?
Sure. Can you go to that page, Helia?
At the bottom?
It's on page 7 and 8. You're talking about for the the side, the sideband packet itself, right?
Yeah, yeah, the message itself, yes.
So I cover, so write and read are kind of obvious, and then I have error. Which ones don't I cover?
That's good. So
I don't think did we cover write response? I don't have a write response bullet.
okay, and the read response is pretty light, right? You don't say what the fields mean.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so do we agree that the address is don't care?
On a read response?
Yeah.
I would say reserved. Yeah. Yeah. I think since we're not doing out of order or, outstanding transactions or whatever, yeah, it's a don't care for now.
Yeah, there can only be one message outstanding, right? So,
Yeah.
okay. And then do we talk anywhere about the minimum time between transactions? Right.
There is a minimum time between packets. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, over 1 clock or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not that. I mean, when we're trying to avoid overflowing the consumer in the receiver, right? There's a timer mechanism. There's like there is an optional mode where you can use a timer to pace, right? Or flow control the speed at which you issue non-acknowledged transactions. Are you aware of that? Maybe maybe that's the first question I should ask.
Well, we talked about a timeout. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's not a timeout. It's so the whole reason for the write acts,
Yep.
right, came about because I was concerned about overflow, right?
Okay.
I was concerned about flow control. There was no flow control for writes, right? There is, basically
You still only have like one outstanding though, right? You can't keep issuing rights.
no, you can, right? If you're doing posted writes, you can post them as fast as you can,
Oh,
like
posted
generate,
rights. I see. Okay. Yeah, sure.
right?
Sorry.
That's why
Yeah.
the act right came about, right? Was because I was complaining that we could overflow the receiver.
Yeah. I had assumed on a posted right, you just have to keep absorbing them.
Okay, so that's that. Yeah, so that's not the way we implemented things, or that's not the way we want to implement things, right? The other method to do this is to put a timer in the transmitter. That again, it's kind of like knowing about ECC, right? You just when you come up, out of reset, you just know what this timer value is, right? The link,
Okay.
right? And it just throttles you, right? It doesn't allow you to transmit, any faster than this timer thingy,
All right.
right?
So we have a subsection for pre-configured BOW sideband IP parameters. So it's just below this. If we need to have something like that, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. It's just we had built that into the thing beforehand because like the act rights is a new kind of thing, right? And the solution that Ram and I came up with before was we would just like throttle with this timer-based crapola thing.
Right. So that's fine. I don't see any documentation about that at all. So we do need to cover that in some way if that's actually a thing. So is this how would you describe this kludge?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why I was asking because like what I was going to get to was like what does it apply to, right? It certainly needs to apply to, not to posted rights, right? You're not allowed to issue posted rights any faster than this thing. And we can talk about what this thing means, right? But there's some timer in there that says, once you finish sending a message, you start this timer and you cannot start the next message until the timer expires.
Okay,
Right,
here,
right.
let me just add a bullet here. So say let's start it as a note and then we can expand. Note posted rights
Interframe gap
yeah, something like
timer.
that. What's a what? So interframe gap's a good starting word.
Well, okay, so yeah, that's good, but
something more
like,
precise.
yeah. So do we, that thing that we send, is it called a message, a packet, a frame? I mean, we should be consistent. We should pick one word, I think, and be consistent about what we call that thing.
I co-
We call it a packet in multiple places. I don't
yeah,
think we ever call it a frame. The word frame is part of the signaling, but I don't think we actually call it a
yeah,
frame anywhere
yeah,
else.
yeah. It's
So
between packets.
between
We
the
send
clocks between
commands
should
in
we
the
say the start of
packets.
one write and the beginning of another one, or
A
we can
message
say between
header.
this.
Yeah, I would say with the inter message gap, I mean, we call
Yeah.
it a message too, right? That's a message header, right? I mean, we call these things messages as well. So, and it's like in that table, right? So, again, we should be consistent, right?
Packet format.
It's either a packet or it's a frame. It's not, it can't be, to me, it shouldn't be both.
Seems we use packet and message interchangeably. Here we call it, well, no, I think it's packet. It's packet because no, then we call it message header. I think,
Well, PMR is pretty clear. It's a message.
yeah.
I mean, that's from the beginning, right? That PMR thing came from the beginning. And so I think the beginning was message. We may have introduced packet later on, but I think the original term was message, right? This is a message passing interface.
Okay, so this would be a message
Well,
format.
I'm okay either way. I'm just saying my input is it should be, there should be one term we use for this thing. And I'm okay with it being message or packet. I just think that message came around first. Because then we should change the PMR to be PPR or something. Again, we should be consistent. We should use one term in every place that it's used. And so we can find that and fix it, offline, right? I'm just saying, yeah. So to me, it's an inter-message gap, right, that we're forcing. That's what the timer provides.
Okay, so I wrote a quick note here, and we can expand this. So implementations may require a minimum number of clocks between messages when using posted writes.
Right. And the question, and the question I was going to, so that one we have discussed before, right? The thing I was going to bring up now was, does it apply to other things, right? The reason for that being there is because the receiver takes some amount of time to process each message it receives. So it shouldn't just be between two similar types of messages. It may be between any message, right? That like, even like an error, if you send an error right after, like you do a posted write and then you immediately send an error, right? It could be that, he's busy handling that write and doesn't see, he'll overflow because of that error thing. So my question is, do we want to, be a little more complicated and, think about the real reason for this, not the fact that it's just the gap between posted writes, but it's the gap between kind of like messages. Because the reason, the whole reason for this is that the receiver is bandwidth limited and can't handle a message rate any faster than this. Not just,
Yeah,
posted
no,
writes.
well, we don't talk about a mechanism for queuing errors or having any kind of log or anything like that either, which would be the
Right.
ideal implementation.
Right. So that's why I don't personally know at the moment what my opinion is about this, right? It's something we should talk about, right? It's something that we should specify clearly. If you're using this timer, is it, like you said, from the start to the start, or is it from the end to the start, right? That's really important to know. And the other thing is, well, when does it apply? Like I said, I don't care for either one of those guys, right? Too much. It's just, I think we should be, you know, we state clearly what the, a compliant implementation does.
Yeah. All right. So I'll make another bullet here and just write some of these thoughts in. Okay. And then Let me think about, well, let's be more specific. So we talk about, obviously, we do talk about minimum time for transmission, right? This just is nothing. But, and then we talk, where I added a note here for writes, posted writes, to make sense. The other one, nothing else really needs this except for errors, right? Is that right? So maybe we should just define this in terms of errors, because reads are all controlled on the receiving end anyway.
Well, again, it's like if the guy's hung up, if you give him a write followed by a read, right? Again, he's hung up handling the write, so he doesn't have time to receive the read, not handle the read.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right. So it's subtle, right? You're right. I mean, we don't need to post, this doesn't apply after reads, right?
Yeah.
But it does. So I mean, maybe because you can't follow, you could follow up the read with a write. Right?
Well, I mean, this just requires implementation to be able to buffer in one transaction, one full read transaction, right? Which is a command anyway. So, I mean, it's not
Yeah.
a huge burden.
Well, it's not, but it implies stuff, right?
Yeah,
It
it does.
implies something to the implementation that I don't think we want to do. Right. The whole purpose for the timer is for those guys who are too dumb to do it the right way, right?
Okay. Yeah. So, okay, that's fine. So we can say minimum time between well, let me think about how to word this. Minimum time, and we need to find the beginning and end, but just generally what we need a minimum time between. Okay, I just say general packets, but we can let's rephrase that, and then maybe a separate minimum time between errors, and then specifically and then minimum time after writes, right?
Yeah,
After posted writes.
I would tend to stay with the message gap, right? That there's this gap between messages, and until we say otherwise, it applies between all messages. Right? It might be easier to say the exclusions, right? The exceptions to that, as opposed to, okay, what are all the message gaps that we need to like handle? Because I think there's more message gaps we need to handle than message gaps we don't. Right? I mean, there shouldn't be separate line items here, I don't think. Right? There should be like there's
Well, I'm trying to think about, well, I mean, yes, absolutely. So I get where you're going. I'm trying to think about whether if we add, so the worst case is going to be writes, right? Because you have, it depends on what your bus pipeline you don't have any, then sure. Could be, worst case is going to be a posted write. And then I'm trying to think about whether the other cases we would want to suffer that same penalty. And I guess that's fine. I mean, people are going to figure out their own implementation specific things anyway. So I think you're right. So just the minimum number of time between minimum intermessage gap, as we define potentially elsewhere, between each packet. And then maybe that needs to be, probably needs to be noted multiple places. Here, let me just rephrase this then.
Yeah, like I said, we don't need to do it live here, right? That's fine. It's something I think we should agree and put in the spec.
I'll just leave it like that. Just delete this, and I'll add a note saying we need some more definition for now. And then, okay, I mean, actually, for context, Okay, so I mean, this is, you agree this is the right place to put it though, right?
Yeah, that's great.
And let me, on that note, I'm gonna go add another note for myself. Let's see. I'm gonna add another comment up top. Um, So I already have that place where I mentioned you have to have at least one clock. I'm going to mention there's an implementation specific um, timing to consider. Okay. All right, multiple notes on that. Let's see. Okay, anything else here?
No, that's good. Thanks.
Okay, we made it through here.
Yeah, and I think we have a big ball of wax around the config register. We need to make sure and clear up. And then yeah, the next thing is your statement here. Oh, yeah, on the
Oh,
link
here
training.
in the config registers. These,
No,
okay.
no. It's the way we'll wait for ROM for that one.
Yeah, okay.
So on the training, I can't remember what repair. I think
So,
Ron was going to look
yeah.
into some stuff here, but I'm not sure what we need to actually document. We did add a statement last time saying on SBU saying any lane repair occurs here. I don't know if we need more documentation.
No, I think, yeah. I was thinking to show that more in the context of state machine, but I think since then we moved away and adopted everything being in table. So I think that's a better,
Oh,
yeah.
so one of the things that I remember I remember what I meant by the note now. Do we have a repair packet for the PMR, a repair message for the PMR? I think that was the follow-up here. Yeah, I don't think we have like a repair message in PMR. We talk about it and then we say it should be done via PMR, and then we don't actually have a repair message. We're actually missing some other things too.
Yeah, I think
PMR.
that table like needs a lot of work probably. I think that's just what Rom had implemented in his go round.
Okay. So we probably need a list of things that need to be added. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment down there. Or no, I guess. I mean, this has to be part of the codes, right? Or is it? Hey, can you scroll down to page 15? So the primary and secondary codes. So one of the things I added is we kind of imply from the messaging that there isn't an error code, but we don't actually say that in this thing. I think similarly, I think we need to add a something for repair.
Right. I thought you added that at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, that we added an error code.
Yeah. So scroll down to that table, the real table for the, yeah, there you go.
Right, but that's not in the codes. That's in the message, right? It's implying that there is a 0, 1 error code from the codes perspective, but we don't cover it in the codes table.
Code versus
I'm sorry.
message.
Yeah. Why?
Well, the messages are examples of how to use the codes, right?
No, that's the code.
Okay.
Right. This is just
Maybe
saying
I'm
that,
misunderstanding how you construct one of these packets.
right. This is just saying that, bits 59 through 56 are the code, primary code and secondary code, right? And then in that table below, it tells you what those codes are.
So this construct, this 64-bit is here,
Yeah, those guys.
these bits.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I mean, there is the primary / secondary code table. I thought you used those values in the thing below.
In this, yes, primary and secondary codes are,
Right, but those are what tells you what kind of message it is, right?
yes,
So
and
there's a table above called primary / secondary codes right above this that I thought you basically you use those with the other values in order to get a message, right? So in this table right there, right in the middle.
yes, yes.
So there's no error there.
Okay,
Doesn't there need to be an error there?
okay, good point. Mm,
Same with the other thing I'm talking about here for
so we
repair.
said what stage, what did we define here? So for any
You did
stage,
0, 1, 0
0, 1.
primary, 1, sorry, yeah, 0 primary, 1 secondary. And so
Okay,
it seems like there's a line on the second line of the table or whatever. Probably
so
needs to be error.
0 and 1. I think we're lucky. Maybe we can still. I don't see 0 and 1 being used.
And the stages don't care, right?
Yeah. And what was the ACK? I'm gonna go.
Well, we need to remove the whole ACK thing too. That needs to be redone as per the previous conversation on that too. We need an ACK bit. We need to decide
I
what the
think we
ACK bit
said
is.
0 or 1. So if it is 0, well, it says this particular command does not, or code does not require an ACK. But then we didn't say anything about encoding, but I think I included that somewhere. Is it here? I remember I edited that live last time. Don't see it. Mm,
Yeah, I think you have a space for the rest of it, but I'm just saying from the
it-
what's it, 0 space error message as on the end
all the slices.
for field 1.
Where are the X in this? Oh, here. Oh, no. Where does the X show up in this table? So this is not a bit. Oh,
No, it's not a bit yet. That was my point. We have an action item to add a bit for it. And then you basically, according to ROM, because the previous conversation was that we were going to add a bit in the PMR, and then any commands you issue, you can request an act for. And then we were going to remove that column. We
so
haven't
we're gonna
done that yet.
add or use one of the reserved bits here.
Right.
Okay, did we document that?
No, it's in the comments at this point.
To be
We need to decide which one we want to take.
Okay.
And my guess would be bit 46.
Okay. Okay, so we were talking about something else. So this is the error, but you were
Yeah,
talking about
that's-
the link repair.
Yeah. Do we need another set of codes for repair?
Yeah, it seems like it to me.
So that would actually be stage specific, right? Since it only happens in SBU.
Yeah.
Switch.
Mm,
SBU is 001.
between and here.
So I'm not, so in terms of the repair function, we have basically, you're just giving it a proprietary message to do switch some muxes, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the way our implementation is, yes.
So let me think about it for a second.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you can't just say repair lane N because there's 2 spare lanes.
Well, we have a, we already have a command for setting a slice lane as bad.
No, I understand, but that doesn't tell you what to do with the other guys.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Right. So that's why I was saying I was hopeful that you just say, okay, lane N is bad and everybody knows what to do, but that's not sufficient. And so there needs to be some more information communicated. And again, I don't know the best way to do that right now. But what I was hoping is not sufficient.
I need to drop and you can
Okay.
continue or we can come back next week.
I'm gonna make some comments. We can continue next week. I think we obviously need some other message here. I think it's just some continuing conversation on how
Yeah.
standardized we do this.
Yep.
So I'll add a comment here and we can pick it up next week.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.